And now we have more or less the finished painting. I never say it's finished completely because obviously you can look at a painting and think, oh, I need to do that, I need to tweak that, and I need to add a little bit of brown or a glaze. And I've been working on this for a couple of weeks now, on and off. And I just wanted to show you some of the things I've done just to finish off. I did find that the pink and the yellow and the green was actually too bright. And so I've glazed my leaves with a lovely raw umber, burnt umber and water glaze, just to give them that nice feeling and of knocking back the paint, the brightness a little bit, and gives it a nice overall antique feel, almost as if it's 100 years old, even though actually the camera on this is actually making it brighter than it is in reality. And I will try to post a very accurate picture as much as possible of the final picture. So also I have, as you can see, you may not be able to see that this is actually, the moon is gold leaf. And I've also picked out some of the leaves a little bit, picked out with white or a greyish white, and slightly changed the mountain in the background. Tweaked a little bit with the light and shade at the back. Also, but the main thing is about the gold leaf. It's very similar to applying decoupage paper, except that it's actually much more delicate. And I want to show you, this is my gold leaf here. And as you can see, it's the finest thing. It's, what you have to do is you have to layer only in the place that you want the gold leaf to be, a thin layer of glue. Don't water it down. Just a thin layer of this decoupage glue, and then just float the gold leaf on top of it and let it, excuse me, settle in the area, and it will be just a great big square. And then gently push it down into the glue. Just gently, 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 gently push it down into the glue and let it dry completely. Excuse me. And once it's completely dry, you burn it. You can, what we call, burnish it. Push it into the glue even more, and there are lots of lovely pieces, or it'll break off. Pieces will break off, and then the undercolor shows through, and then gradually push the bits off that you don't want around the edges. And sometimes bits will break off, and you can think, oh, that could be a nice addition to the sky. And then basically what I did was, once I'd achieved the texture of the moon that I liked, I then overglazed it with the burnt umber. I put a layer of glue over that to keep it, to set it in place. And then the edges of the moon were then more ragged, so I painted over it with ultramarine blue, and then I brought that over here. I then let that dry, and I glazed over with a burnt umber glaze and let that dry. So I've been through quite a few processes. Obviously you don't have to, it's just things that I've done. And if you feel guided by your own mind to create and tweak and create highlights and more glazes over the flowers. Just if they're too bright for you, it doesn't matter if you like them, you then leave them. It's a dialogue with your own mind of what works. And I'm going to continue this little glazing until I feel happier with the brightness and saturation of the colour. I like the antiquing effect it gives. So just do what feels right for you. So I could just go on and on painting this picture and improving what I think needs to be improved. And it's just a beautiful, a lovely dance. It's so grounding. It's so anchoring, tethering. Because sometimes we all feel a little bit untethered. And this winter has been quite challenging for a lot of us. And I've allowed painting to be my anchor. Or it is my anchor. And it tethers me to the earth and to sanity, and keeps me in touch with what matters. It's a beautiful process, and it's so important. And on it goes. It's a dialogue. So for now, I'm going to say that's finished painting. But then again, I'm looking at it and I think, oh, this might need a bit of a glaze over here because I feel like that's a little bit bright. But I will post the final picture. And we can have lots of conversations about this. And I hope you've enjoyed the process of painting with me and created a feeling of serenity and love for yourself. Lots of love.